It was a steamy summer afternoon when a dame dropped a tip that'd make your hair stand on end. "Detective," she whispered, "something crashed in Magenta, Italy, back in '33, and it wasn't no plane." I leaned back, lit a cigarette, and said, "Spill it, sister." She did, and now, folks, I'm taking you along for the ride. This is the case of a Magenta UFO crash, a mystery so wild it'll keep you guessing till the credits roll. Let's hit the streets and dig up the truth. A mystery so wild it'll keep you guessing till the credits roll. Let's hit the streets and dig up the truth. Picture this: June 1933, a sleepy field in Magenta, Italy. Just a hop, skip, and 369 miles from the Vatican's Golden Gates. Out in nowhere, a strange object tumbles from the sky, bam. Locals rush over and find a sight straight out of the funny papers. A saucer-shaped contraption, edges busted up like a kid cracked an acorn with a hammer. 20 feet wide, 10 feet high, and get this, empty as a speakeasy after a raid. No pilots, no gadgets, just a hollow shell glinting in the sun. Folks, this wasn't your average fender bender. The Italian brass swooped in quick, figuring it was one of Hitler's Wunderwaffen, those fancy wonder weapons the Germans were cooking up. Mussolini's boys didn't waste time. They hauled it off and rang up their pals in Berlin. "Hey Fritz, got a saucer here, yours?" The Germans said no, but they weren't about to miss the party. Scientists from both sides teamed up, poking and prodding this thing like it was the Holy Grail. What they find? That's where the trail gets foggy, but hold on to your hats, we're just warming up. Now, let's swing by Rome. Pope Pius V's turf in '33, later handed off to Pius XII during the war. Magenta's close enough to smell the incense, and word is, the Vatican might have caught wind of this cosmic caper. By 1944, with the Allies storming Italy, whispers say Pius XII was back channeling info to Uncle Sam. Did the church know about that acorn saucer? Was it a heavenly sign or something spookier? I'd bet my last dime there's more to that story, but those Vatican vaults are tighter than a drum. Here's where it gets juicy. The trail leads to 1944-45 as World War II's winding down. The Americans, sharp-eyed and slick, nabbed the craft right out from under the Axis's nose. How'd they pull it off? Enter the OSS, America's spy outfit, and a fella named Alan Dulles, mastermind with a poker face. Stationed in Switzerland, he was knee-deep in a hunt for the Ciano diaries, penned by Galeazzo Ciano, Mussolini's right-hand man. Those pages might have spilled the beans on the crash, and Dulles wasn't about to let him slip away. Dulles was a big-shot OSS bigwig, with connections thicker than spaghetti sauce. He got wind of these diaries, and by '45, he's darting into Italy faster than you can say arrivederci. The diaries belonged to Ciano, executed in '44, but his widow, Etta, had him stashed. Dulles tracked her down, cut a deal, and snagged the goods, 1,200 pages of secrets, microfilmed and shipped stateside. Now, here's the kicker. Some say those diaries mentioned the Magenta crash, maybe even the craft studies by Italy's RS-33 group and their German buddies. Dulles censored the juicy bits before the press got a peak smart move, huh? But Dulles wasn't alone. Word on the street says, Wild Bill Donovan, OSS. Head honcho was boots on the ground in '44, near Rome during the Anzio push. The Cerati bunker Axis hideout, north of the Eternal City, might have housed that craft till Donovan's crew swooped in. Picture it, a saucer loaded onto a truck, then a ship, sailing off to the USA while the brass told the press, "Nothing to see here." The director of national affairs even leaned on editors to zip their lips. Smooth as silk, folks. So, the craft lands in America, 1945, just as the war's curtains drop. What's next? Reverse engineering, that's what. The Yanks took that saucer apart like a Sunday roast, and some say it sparked big ideas. Fiber optics, those tiny light-carrying threads we use today, might have been born from that tech. Unconfirmed, sure, but the timeline fits like a glove. And who's in the mix? Paul Mellon, OSS insider and Moneybags philanthropist. Was he funding the brain trust cracking that craft's secrets? It's a hunch, not a headline, but it's got legs. The craft itself. No clue what it was made of, some exotic alloy maybe. And why empty? Did the pilots vamoose before the crash, or was it a cosmic drone? Theories swirl like smoke in a jazz joint, but the facts are these. It landed in 33, Italy and Germany studied it, and the USA grabbed it in 44, 45. From there, it's a straight shot to America's tech boom, and maybe a cover-up thicker than fog on the bay. That's the Magenta mystery. Folks, a case of flying saucers, secret diaries, and spies in trench coats. Did it change history? You bet your bottom dollar. The USA's push for advanced tech, the hush-hush from the top. It all ties back to that acorn-shaped riddle in 33. Was it aliens, a test, or something else? I'll leave that to you sleuths out there. But wait, there's more. Just as I'm dusting off my desk, two new witnesses stroll in with tales wilder than a Saturday matinee. First up, David Grush, ex-Intel hotshot, who swore under oath the U.S. has been running a secret UFO retrieval gig for decades.
And unexpected countries have had this happen, and that's why I picked that, because I thought that was a interesting case. And then, of course, Pope Pius XII and the Vatican were involved, back-channeling it through the OSS, which became the CIA later, to FDR, and that's how the U.S. knew something weird happened in Italy right before World War II. But
so this was 33 was the first, documented?
that is the earliest one I can talk about, yeah.
There's something.
He points right to that Magenta crash in 33, saying the government snagged the saucer and stashed it away, with the Vatican tipping off the Yanks. Then there's Harold Malmgren, a guy who advised presidents and claims we shot down a UFO in 62.
Yeah, what else did Richard Bissell tell you?
He said this didn't start last week. This has been going on. He mentioned that in 1933 in Magenta.
He did?
Yes.
Richard Bissell mentioned the 1933 Magenta crash?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
That is such corroboration, because that is a highly conflicted, account.
1933 was the first recovery in Europe, in Magenta, Italy.
I fully trust David Grush, but that's amazing that there's some corroboration from back then.
He mentioned it.
Wow.
Italian government moved it to a secure air base in Italy for the rest of kind of the fascist regime until 1944, 1945, and the Pope Pius XII back-channeled that.
So the Vatican was involved.
Yeah, and told the Americans what the Italians had, and we ended up scooping it.
So he said this. Yeah, he said this did not begin, and you need to know the background. How did it end up that Truman transferred that object from Italy? The steps getting.
Get this, he says. JFK got rubbed out for wanting to blab about alien tech, and he's got the Magenta story in his back pocket too. Now, I ain't saying it's all true, but it's enough to keep this gumshoe sniffing around. Subscribe and stay tuned. Folks, the Magenta mystery's got legs, and I'm hot on the trail.